Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing my November wrap-up. So in the month of November, I feel like I finally kind of got back on track with reading. My last 2 months were pretty slow. This month I read about 8 books, so that's typically like the average amount of books I read in a month. Some of them were novellas, so that's a big part of why I was able to get through more books. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and share all of what I read in November and just kind of a brief summary on these books and just some of my thoughts and ratings on them. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I would love it if you would stick around and subscribe. I post videos at least once a week, but since we're now in the month of December, I have quite a few videos that I'm trying to get out by the end of the year. So I'm hoping to post 3 times a week this month. So I'll be posting every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have everything scheduled out of all the videos I want to post. We'll see how well it goes and how well I can keep up with that. So yeah, that's something to look out for. I have a lot of videos that I am planning for this month. But yeah, let's just get into the wrap up. So the first book that I read in November is Quarterback Sneak by Candy Steiner. It is the 3rd in this series. I don't know what the series is called, but this is the 3rd one in this series. The first one is Fair Catch and then the second one is Blindside. I have talked about those two before. I read them back in July. So Blindside is just one of my favorites. I love it so much, so I was really looking forward to Quarterback Sneak. So this one came out in October. This one is a football college sports romance. It has the coach's daughter trope. So it follows Holden and Julep, and so Holden is the captain of the football team, and then Julep obviously is the coach's daughter, but she's also an athletic trainer for the team. So they meet. There's like this instant attraction between them. Obviously they're not supposed to be together. His coach made it very clear from the beginning that his daughter is off limits, so they're kind of like fighting that attraction the whole time, but eventually their feelings just start to grow stronger for each other. So this book, I did really like it, but for some reason I just kind of feel like, I don't know, there was something missing maybe. Like it wasn't as good as Blindside, which is book 2. I feel like it was kind of at the same level of Fair Catch. Like I did just really enjoy it. It just wasn't like a favorite for me. I did rate this one 4.25 stars. I enjoyed the story. I really liked the concept. I think I just didn't really like connect with the characters as much as I was hoping to, especially with Holden. He was introduced obviously in the last books, and I really liked his character from those books, so I was just really excited to get to his book, and then I feel like I didn't love him as much as I was expecting to. And then Julep, like, she was an okay character. I didn't really love her, but I didn't dislike her either. I feel like there's just kind of a lot of indifference towards these characters, but I did really like the storyline. But yeah, it was cute and there were some cute scenes in it, but like I said, I just feel like I didn't really love it as much as the last book or really like connect to this book all that much. But it was still enjoyable. There's a 4th book coming out, so I'm definitely planning to read that. I'm excited for that one. I believe that one's supposed to be like an enemies to lovers story. So then next I decided to pick up the Hoop series by Kennedy Ryan. So these books had been on my TBR for a while, but they just kind of like weren't on my radar to like read them anytime soon. I just knew I wanted to read them eventually. But for some reason I decided to pick up the first book and I started reading it on Kindle Unlimited and I just loved it. So I decided to buy a physical copy of it, and then I ended up buying the other 2 books as well. So the first book is Longshot, and then the second book is Blockshot, and then book 3 is Hookshot. And so I'm actually currently reading Hookshot right now. Right now as I'm filming this, it is November 30th. So I'm about halfway through. I decided to include it in this video because I'm going to finish it by the end of today. Like, I know I will. But yeah, these 3 books are sports romance. They follow basketball players. They're interconnected standalones, so each book follows a different couple. I don't want to go too in depth on my thoughts on the series as of now, just because I'm not done with it yet, but I am going to finish it today, and then I'm planning to do a full video of my review for the series, sharing all the details about it and just kind of sharing my thoughts and my ratings on it and everything. But yeah, I do just want to say that if you do plan to read these books, please check trigger warnings for them. Each of them deals with different subject matter that can be triggering, so just keep that in mind with these books, especially the first one. The first one was a very heavy read. It's probably one of the heaviest books I've ever read. I definitely had a hard time getting through it at times, but it was a really amazing book. I am glad that I read it, but I just kind of wanted to give that warning to keep that in mind with these books, because they're definitely not like your typical lighthearted sports romance rom-com. So the next books that I'm going to talk about are all pretty much Christmas books. I did read all of these like in between the Hoop series just because I wanted kind of something lighter in between each book. So after reading Longshot, I read The Mistletoe Bet by Maren Moore. So this book is a Christmas novella. This story is reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So the woman in the story is kind of grumpy, doesn't really care for Christmas. She moved away from her small town, but she's come back for the holidays, and then she runs into her brother's brother's best friend, and he is just the opposite of her. He loves Christmas, and so basically they kind of make this bet where he's gonna make her fall in love with Christmas by the end of her week at home. So yeah, it was fun to read for the holidays. I feel like I say this all the time with novellas, but like every time I read a novella, I want more from it, and then I have to remind myself that it's a novella and like that's not really the point. Like it's supposed to be really short, you're not supposed to go like super in depth. And so this one, as I was reading it, I kind of just thought like this would be cute as like a full-length novel, but at the same time it didn't need to be. It's a short story, it's pretty lighthearted, so this one was a fun book to read to get into the Christmas books. This one was the first Christmas book that I read for this year. The next book is Snowed Into the Player by Rebecca Genshak. So this one is another novella. It basically follows this girl who's on Christmas vacation with her twin sister, and so they have this family cabin that they go to. So the two of them are planning to just kind of spend a weekend there, but when they get there, their older brother is there with all of his teammates. But one of the guys that's there is one of her brother's best friends, and she's known him for a few years and she's had a crush on him. That's kind of mainly what this book is about. It's very short. Like I said, it's another novella, so there's not much to it. I did think it was really cute. Like I enjoyed it. This one is actually one where I didn't really feel like it was lacking anything. Like most of the time with novellas, like I said, I kind of feel like, oh, I wish there was more to this story. This one I think was just told in a way where I felt like it was good on its own. Like I didn't feel like I needed more or anything to it. So yeah, I liked it for what it was. It's cute if you just want something like short to read for Christmas. And then the next book that I read was 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. So this one is a full-length book, and I absolutely loved this one. It was so cute and just so good. I was reading it on the week of Thanksgiving, and I went out of town for Thanksgiving, so normally when I go out of town, I just don't get any reading done. It doesn't matter where I go or who I'm with, like I just won't read if I'm not at home. I'm just like wondering how I even finished this book so quickly, but I do know that it was just so good that I couldn't put it down. So I guess the times where I did pick it up, I just got like really into it. I mean, it's not super long. I think it's like under 300 pages, but this book follows a woman who has just been dumped by her boyfriend on Halloween. She decides that she wants to get revenge, and then she goes on a dating app and she ends up matching with his boss. And so she decides to date his boss in order to kind of sabotage him and kind of like get back at him. But yeah, this one is probably like my favorite holiday romance book I've ever read. I did rate this one 4.5 stars. It was almost a 5-star read. I just feel like kind of towards the ending, there wasn't necessarily anything wrong with the ending, but that's just kind of where I was taking back the 5-star rating a little bit and just kind of felt like this leans more towards like a 4.5, which is obviously still a really good rating. But yeah, that was kind of my overall rating for it. I loved this one. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a Christmas book to read, even just to read in general. It definitely has like the Christmassy vibes to it, but there's definitely a lot more to this story, and I feel like you could kind of read it at any time of the year. So the last book that I completed in the month of November was The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner. So this is actually another Christmas novella. This book follows a woman who has just returned to her hometown for Christmas, but when she gets there, she gets stuck in a blizzard, so she's not able to make it to her parents' house. And so someone comes to help her, and that person that shows up is her ex-husband. So she has to stay with him while this blizzard passes. This one is one where I wish there could have been more to it. I really love this trope, the like marriage reconciliation trope. So it was enjoyable to read that aspect of it, but I didn't really love the male main character mainly. You obviously find out like what happened between them, why they divorced and everything. And I feel like the female main character was supposed to be seen as kind of like the villain because she left and like just left everything behind. But I kind of feel like I understood her stance, and I kind of felt like the male main character was like in the wrong in this situation in some ways. But other than that, I thought it was an enjoyable story. This one, like I said, I feel like it would have been good as like a full-length book, you know, like just getting more details. And obviously like the ending is a little bit rushed because it's a novella. You only have so many pages to tell the story. I mean, it was enjoyable for like a quick Christmas read. But yeah, those were all of the books that I read in the month of November. I didn't share any ratings on the novellas just because I think they're too short for me to really like give a proper rating on them. Like there's just not enough content there, so I just don't ever rate novellas. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know any of your thoughts on any of these books, or let me know what you read in the month of November. And if you liked this and you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would stick around and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.